Hello, lovely listeners, and welcome to the New Story podcast with me, Rebecca Conran. And this recording is all about the December energy report, the astrological transits that we have to be looking forward to, or maybe not, depending on your relationship with the cosmos right now. November was a very tough month, especially with Mercury retrograde and Saturn stationing. The beginning half of this month is not looking too easy either. But as we get into the second half, we definitely have some grounded, embodied determination and stamina coming our way. So try and stick with it because the energy is going to shift. And of course, we're coming to the end of this 2025 9 year. This is a year of endings. This is a year of tying up loose ends. This is a year of being really conscious about your karma, your ancestral inheritance, the information that's been taught to you through eons of your lineage, and whether or not you are willing to move forward with that, or whether things are going to shift and change with you and you're going to evolve for your lineage, and what that means for you to take charge of that, of the healing of the lineage, and to really define a new beginning that is hopefully one that's aligned with your humanitarian side, compassion, especially towards self, and a more loving world that we want to see outpictured. Additionally, 2026 is a year of initiation. So it's very, very important to be very focused on what your intentions are, especially right now. Not so much maybe in terms of what do we call it when we are at New Year's Eve? Resolutions, perhaps. But you don't have to say everything's going to change on January 1st. But perhaps there are resolutions you want to make that over the next few months you're going to really help to set in practice into your life. Because the energy new year officially starts in March of 2026. So sometimes that's why resolutions don't necessarily work in January, because the energy is not right always to make a huge new beginning. But if we can at least set our intentions and know what we're working towards, and then be very gentle and kind towards ourselves as we reach towards those goals. So, we are sifting through stories that no longer reflect who we are becoming. And we are opening to and trusting in possibilities that we can't yet see. It's a tall order. And this month guides us from a mental unraveling into a spiritual clarity, and then ultimately towards a sober, embodied commitment. So the full moon in Gemini on December 4th is really going to set the tone for the month. It's opposite Venus, it's conjunct Uranus, and it's trine Pluto. And this lunation is really acting as a lightning strike through the mind. It's really going to let you know what you are working on healing wise. And it's coming in hot. Gemini reveals what has been scattered and compartmentalized, and it brings those fragments of truth into a cohesive picture. The Uranian influence is going to really deliver unexpected insights and revelations, particularly around relationships and values. And then Pluto is going to ensure that anything that's coming up has an evolutionary purpose. It's important to the evolution of our particular soul. So this is a truth-telling moon. Mental clarity may arrive as a disruption, but ultimately it's come to liberate you. The heart is definitely involved. It's going to reveal where we've been negotiating our authenticity to our own detriment, and how to realign that. And the medicine here is going to be self-expression that comes from a very honest place, and releasing of attachments to outcomes. So we really have to let the chips fall where they may. We really need to act on behalf of our integrity and our inner knowing, even if we can't necessarily see what the result of that is going to be, whether it will be positive for us or not. We have to just trust that anything that we're breaking free of right now, especially when it comes to old perspectives, old ideas and habits, is really ultimately for our benefit and has an evolutionary purpose. On December 10th, Transit I couldn't be more happy for, as it means we're nearly done with the particular lessons of this generational shift. It's Neptune stationing direct, but it's going to be a very tough moment for us because it's in the final moments of Pisces, and it's an anaretic turning point, and the veil is going to be thin. You want to be setting intentions around your energy, making sure that you allow permission only to energies of benevolence, love, and light, and for your highest good and the highest good of all beings. When a planet stations at the 29th degree, it's asking us to complete a karmic story. Karma is learning something that we didn't previously know, right? Which might have come around for us multiple times. Well, this time let's really learn what we're supposed to be learning so we can move on from the repeat patterns that are probably driving us mad at this point. Neptune's long journey through Pisces, it's in its final act. Neptune already entered, it moved forward, it went into Aries, and then it retrograded through Pisces, and that's where we are now. And now it's going to move forward again, and in any of our lifetimes, it's never going to be back in Pisces. So, this is an important moment for themes of release, forgiveness, and spiritual discernment, and very intensely so. On the same day as Neptune stationing, we've got Mercury in the last degrees of Scorpio opposing retrograde Uranus in Taurus. So this is a volatile mental climate. There are stirring revelations going on. There's psychic downloads. There's confrontations with truths that we've avoided. And the mind is really being asked to surrender those hardened perspectives and viewpoints, to admit what we cannot control, and to allow for a deeper intelligence to guide the way, one that's more embodied. The very next day brings Mercury trining Neptune, but both at release degrees before Mercury leaves Scorpio and enters into Sagittarius. This is a very psychically ripe moment. Messages may be coming through dreams, synchronicities, or subtle energetic currents, and situations that broke apart during November's Mercury retrograde. We might have more clarity on that now. We might feel more free around it. The trine softens the edges of the previous day's shocks and helps us to integrate what has been revealed. And then when Mercury shifts into Sagittarius, we're seeing the bigger picture. Our perspective is widening, and what felt like a crisis might now feel like clarity. The narrative will expand, and we can see the greater pattern and hopefully be optimistic about the benefit of making changes. On December 15th, we've got Mars entering Capricorn, and this is going to really shift the collective will towards discipline, structure, and long-term commitment. Energy and motivation will be increasing, something we've all really needed. And we're finally going to be getting to work, something that has felt absent during Saturn's retrograding over the last few months. It's been hard to get a lot done. The fiery impulsiveness of Mars is mature here, and it's channeling energy into strategy and endurance. So these are just things that we've been begging for, and now they're here. They're going to really help us to align our will with integrity. So this marks the beginning of an extended period of taking responsibility for our desires and aligning our action with integrity. Mars in Capricorn is about mastery, and it strengthens our ability to maintain focus and to move steadily towards what matters, and to climb those mountains, and to have the willpower, the endurance, the stamina to do it, to like get out there and roll up our sleeves. So something that is really going to carry through to the new moon on December 20th, which is in Sagittarius. But, this new moon, it's expansive, but it's also about commitment and accountability. When we're setting intentions at this time, the vision is important, but the commitment to embodying our intentions is what matters now, the integrity. So this new moon encourages us to explore where our belief needs to become practice and how to do that. On December the 22nd, the sun is going to join the Capricorn party. We're going to mark the solstice gateway, and it's going to usher us into this season of responsibility and consolidation. Capricorn energy really invites us to return to our long-term intentions. And right now, we're maybe revisiting them and evaluating whether they support the person that we've been becoming. This isn't a cold or austere passage, but it is a serious moment. It's a sacred reevaluation of what's essential. And the solstice offers a moment of spiritual stillness, of connection to nature and Mother Earth herself. And it's a turning point where inner light can be rekindled during a period of deep introspection. So 2 days later, on December 24th, we've got Venus in Sagittarius. It's going to square Neptune in Pisces, coming back up again, but right before it enters Capricorn. So we'll have the Sun, Mars, and Venus all in Capricorn by the end of the month. This is, a delicate passage for matters of the heart as the square is happening with Neptune. It may blur boundaries. It could evoke longing, especially in relationships that are struggling right now, or for if you don't have a partner, it can bring moments of disillusionment. But ultimately, it's going to reveal where we've been idealizing rather than perceiving clearly. It's going to make us aware of our spiritual responsibility to ourself in relationships and to do with our self-worth. So as Venus shifts into Capricorn, though, the energy will stabilize. And there's a desire now for reliability and maturity and emotional realism in relationships. Connection becomes a choice rather than an escape. So the month is actually going to conclude with the asteroid Juno also entering Capricorn on December 29th. It's going to underscore those themes of commitment and responsibility that are necessary right now. As I always say, Capricorn builds the spiritual into reality. So it takes the spiritual, brings it down, and says, let's create structures here in our lives around our spiritual truth. And Juno's placement here invites us to bring that energy into our partnerships, agreements, boundaries, and shared goals are all going to come into focus. Having similar practical goals is great, building a house, having children, things like that. But is it enough if there's not a spiritual component there, if there's not a creative component that comes between you of a meeting of the mind and hearts? So whether we're deepening a bond or recognizing where alignment is absent, this transit is going to emphasize the sacredness of integrity in relating. December is such a reorienting month. It's very profound. Illusions are here to dissolve. Truths are here to surface. And the path, hopefully, will become clearer ahead for each of us as we attune to what is essential. This is the lineage of the inner work. We have the revelation, the purification, and ultimately the renewal. And if you can allow for an unraveling to happen, especially in your mind, especially in opening your mind, opening your perspectives, and meet that with presence, this month is going to leave you wiser, steadier, and more aligned with your soul's trajectory moving into the new year. And it would be a great time to set your intentions at the end of the month. But also remember that we're not quite to the point of birthing new situations in our life. That's going to come at the end of March 2026. That's not to say we won't have new beginnings before then, but that's really the moment of rebirth. And so if we can really cultivate that patience and connection with the seasons of life, with the seasons of nature, there is a season to our own unfolding, and letting that happen and not guilting or shaming ourselves if we're not where we think we should be already. And the energy is going to shift quite dramatically next year. There is so much initiation, so enjoy the moments of rest and recuperation and quietness as you can. Final note, around December 10th, when Neptune stations direct, I would definitely be very, very careful about using drugs, alcohol, things like that. This is overdose type energy. And at the end of the month, when Venus is going to square Neptune, these are moments where overindulgence can have dire consequences. We really want to be conscious, be aware, be in our choice, take good care of ourselves, soothe with inner mothering and fathering, not just with over self-medicating, and just be very, very careful about how you treat yourself. If you'd like to join my weekly energy report, I talk about these transits and all the daily transits, so even more transits, and along with a weekly ritual and a theme that's coming on in the week. If you want to join that subscription, you can do so through my website. It's £10, it's about $13. And that connects you with this wisdom every single day. And I also work with people one-on-one, whether in my astrology readings or my life coaching sessions or my energy healings, and that's also accessed through my website. Additionally, I have a new product out. It's called the Reiki Oracle deck, and it is a 48 card deck divination tool. Each card has an original folk watercolor painting by me. It's imbued with Reiki, and along with a theme, a mantra, and some really great wisdom. And that is linked in the show notes. They make really good gifts for Christmas as well, or for gifting season. So I will link that, and it ships internationally. Well, my friends, I will see you in January. Lots of love. Bye bye.